winter's night. It was bitterly cold, and the wind turned the atmosphere upside down, and the electric current was interrupted. And I was shivering with cold and fear. Moments later, my mother brought a candle and lit the candles of the whole house, and we sat in the living room, arguing until the electric current. So we asked my grandmother to tell us a story about spending time. She said, "I will tell you the story of the big olive tree at the end of the village." She said that was a cursed tree and inhabited by the sad ghost of an old woman. This woman was beautiful and alone in a small farmhouse with her late husband in the village and living from him, and from here, she was beautiful and beloved among the villagers. One day, the phenomenon of the disappearance of young children from the village appeared while they went out to play and did not return to their homes, and after extensive searching they did not find a trace of them, and every day a child disappeared from the village, so the parents searched with the police search in vain, and they did not find any evidence that would lead them to the young children. So he thought. The families indicated that Mrs. Hasina is the one who kidnaps children, tortures and kills them. It is said that Mrs. Hasina hated children just because they were reckless and played a lot in front of her house and threw stones at her, but she was not bad with children or even adults, so parents thought. The children that Hasina's hatred for the children made her kidnap them, torture them, cut them and eat their meat. This was a figment of the imagination of the people, although Hasina is innocent, and the reason for the disappearance of the children in reality is due to the appearance of a serial killer named Aziz, who was the one who kidnapped the children and took them to other villages and sold them as slaves in order to earn money. He comes disguised as a vegetable and fruit merchant and focuses on the attention of the villagers and their distraction in searching for their children. He kidnaps a child every day by deceiving them to buy them sweets, and so the children go with him for their naivety with a simple deception. We return to the poor Mrs. Hasina, who received great accusations from the people of the village and they tried to attack her, but the police did not leave them because there was no evidence to prove that Mrs. Hasina was the perpetrator, although the police searched her house, interrogated and monitored her several times, but they found no evidence. And while the people are worried about poor Hasina, the serial killer Aziz is doing his job lightly. One day, while the police were investigating the case, the people took advantage of the opportunity to attack Hasina, so they drove her out of her house and set her on fire throughout the house and the farm. The poor woman was burnt and tied to the olive tree. A few days after that incident, the phenomenon of the disappearance of children reappeared, and then the parents realized that they had committed a mistake that God would not forgive them. Poor Mrs. Hasina was burned at an olive tree. From that day on, the tree became sterile and withered, and did not produce olives, even though the people regret the crime they committed. But the story does not end here. It was narrated that the tree was inhabited by the ghost of Mrs. Hasina, and whoever approaches the tree will be cursed and die because of it. It is said that a shepherd from the same village, one of his children was among the kidnapped and was among the participants with the rest of the people in setting the fire and killing Hasina. He was tending his livestock and exhausted, so he went towards the olive tree to rest. So he took his cattle and headed towards his house and farm, and when he was trying to bring his cattle to the farm, a lit cigarette accidentally fell from his mouth, which made the hashish inflamed, and flames spread in his house and farm, and he died of burning, as happened with Hasina. This was a lesson for all the people, and the people knew that the shepherd was cursed and the ghost of Mrs. Hasina came back to take revenge on them, and from that day everyone who sits next to the tree will die by fire. Since that time, the people no longer leave their children playing next to the olive tree. Even the adults cannot approach the tree because of their fear.